Well, well, well. What do you think about you gotta unmute yourself. You're muted.
See,
Okay,
look out. Oh my
start
gosh,
over.
I love it. Oh my goodness. We got a countdown.
So
Five,
shout
four,
out to
three, two,
Bianca.
one. Woo! The shade worked. The shade worked.
We got us a countdown video. If you are only listening to this, you have to come onto YouTube and see the countdown video. But we got us a snazzy beat and such. Okay. I saw your face when we were about to go. You were like, oh.
I've never seen the surprise.
That was the
Yes,
surprise. So
love
again,
it.
thank you, Bianca, for hooking us
Thanks,
up
B.
with our countdown video. So, what up, y'all? Welcome to So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese. This is a podcast. We're two real life cousins, and we be talking about stuff that we thought was normal in our family, but it was actually the family recipe of dysfunction. So,
Mm.
we come on here to unpack it and give voice to things that sometimes people might not necessarily talk about, and we love to add a little humor to it because
Definitely.
we funny. Okay, we
I'm saying I think I enjoy myself.
honey, it's a good time. You know what? I was in here yesterday, and this was probably like about like maybe 7 p.m. I had just finished making dinner,
Hmm.
and I was listening to music and just having a blast with
Right,
myself, and I just bust out laughing, and I was like, I am a great time. Like I don't
girl.
mind being with myself.
I often wonder if people have those moments, as I am the same, like laughing, dancing around in my living room or dining room, just like I enjoy my company. Like I think I'm a good time. And that makes it hard though in life because that's what people are competing with essentially. It's not like, oh, is it better for me to leave the house or not? It's like, are you going to add any more stress to me? Because I can have a great old time with no pants
By
on,
myself.
dancing around by myself.
By my girl. So we got segments, y'all, and we're gonna tell y'all about these segments in a minute. But I'm gonna fast forward to something because um PJ Morton, we're gonna talk about PJ Morton today,
Oh,
right?
yes,
But
yes.
he came out with a new song and it's called I Found You that he has
Oh,
on his South Africa album, right?
ooh.
And I'm listening to the song. You know, he writes a good love song,
He
okay?
does
Like,
indeed. He does.
honey,
That
okay,
man is gifted with the pen.
baby. So I love the song, right? So I'm listening to the song, and then this is around the time where I had started laughing to myself because I was singing it to myself.
Oh, well,
Like
there
I
you
was like,
go.
oh my God, like this is just so I am really enjoying being with myself. And then I started having this
Oh,
moment of like, I really had thought that I had wanted to be married at three to, well, not three, two, because that I wasn't doing that other one. That
she's
was
she's like that
that
one didn't count.
was not finna happen. Okay, but two distinct times, I definitely was like intentional, like we're doing this, right? But then today, when I asked myself that, I was like, "Cause why? If you gonna
Oh,
come over here and stressing my nerves and worrying me and I done told you to take your shoes off at the door and you walking in the kitchen with your shoe. What? Go home. I don't
oh my goodness,
want to do
she done
this.
sent him home. She done sent him
Go
home, Lord.
home.
No, like I still say there's room. I still say there's room for it. I won't give up on the possibility. It's not something I see for myself again. Like
Uh-huh.
I've been there. It has happened. Thank you very much. It was a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. But I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not saying never.
Uh-huh.
But it definitely is that whole like cohabitation in my space. Like it's gonna be different because
Uh-huh.
I hadn't lived on my own before I got married. Like I went from my mom's house to college, living with roommates, than to being with my partner and my eventually my husband, of the same person.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So it was like I had never lived alone. So these past few years have been like the only time I've been by myself. And it's like, oh, how you
Interesting.
go back to sharing space, And I'm like, that's it's an interesting prospect. But I mean, I feel like I'm pretty adaptable, so we'll see. But there's still like the trepidation of, am I gonna get annoyed with having someone in here of
Yes.
like, oh, I have to take them into consideration when I'm dancing around in the living room with the music on blast, singing at the top of my lungs. Like,
Right.
but
Right.
I hope that I
Because
would
that's what
marry
my brain
somebody.
needs right now.
Yeah.
But then
But
you
I
over
think
here scrolling on TikTok with no earbuds. I can't go home. Go home.
now see, I
You
might be able to
understand
do
me?
that. Now, what I can't do, and which is what Eric used to do, who's that? I'm like, you don't know them. Like, if I tell you who this is, you have no idea who this is. And then they're looking over your shoulder. What's that? I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying to watch gray sweatpants in peace. Don't worry about why this song has replayed 17 times in a
Because
row.
I thought that was something that everybody did, but apparently is not. Because I love this song. Like I literally one of the reasons why I appreciate my Google ecosystem, I guess, is
Mm,
because I can send it from my phone. So I have my YouTube music on
mm.
my phone, so I could put it on repeat and I could
Yes,
just chill right there for a little bit until the spirit shifts. Okay. That's what I did last night. I was just
there you
like,
go.
I really love and enjoy this song. I sat
Just
down, I
let it
journaled, I
ride.
did all, and I hear that people don't be doing that.
No, people definitely
They
do it.
think it's weird.
My mom does it because that song "Inner Me" that
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
played and sent out, she had it on repeat for like days. When we My mom and I got little tattoos. Well, I say little, but mine's pretty big. It's a little ladybug, which we'll talk about in a minute. Yay. So my mom has a little red one, which is super cute. It's her first tattoo. She's never had any. She's not a tattoo girly at all. Sorry if I put your business out there. I just realized that too late. Oops. Can't undo it.
My
But
bad.
my bad. The whole time she was getting the tattoo, she was listening to Inner Me. She just had it in her
Oh,
headphone and just was playing it on a loop while I'm like massaging her to try to
wow.
like
Yeah.
keep her mind away from the pain. But
Yes.
yeah, no, people definitely do it. People definitely do it. I feel like it. But again, it's our family, so maybe it is just us. Y'all
I
tell us in the
know.
comments.
Y'all tell us, do y'all be listening to songs on repeat? Because I definitely be doing that. Okay. And I'm talking, even I still listen to Kendrick Lamar Euphoria and Not Like Us
Oh,
every single day.
yes.
Every
Oh,
single day.
I like Not Like Us a lot. I grew real hard to it when it comes on, but I don't listen to it intent like with intent. But when it's
Every
on, I'm
day.
there for it. She said
It is it
every.
kicks off my dinner preparation. Like I start
Yes.
dinner, I be like, play Euphoria. And we go from Euphoria to Not Like Us, and I be muzzled on me. Oh, like I be in here
You get
getting
some
it
moments.
every
All
day.
right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I love it.
But anyway,
I
none of
love
that,
it.
y'all, is what we were supposed to be talking about, but that's what we
At
be
all.
talking about. So, now that y'all have gotten a whiff of what this might look like, sound like, and what have you, let's introduce ourselves.
We're here
Oh, I have
today.
another. Okay, I'll say that after that.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
so
voice surprises.
I know it is. It's been a lot. Okay, so my name is Kimberland Tyler of House Jackson. I want to pause there just for a second because my name is Kimberland. Okay, I grew up as Kim in my world, even in school, like even in high school, and I really didn't embrace Kimberland, my actual name, until I was an adult and out of the classroom because people will always mispronounce my name. And I used to get sick
Right.
and tired of correcting people because either people would just stop and called me Kimberly, which is just not
Oh no, that's not it.
at all. Like that's not what happens after that. Or they would call me Kimberland, and that's not my name either.
Where are you
So,
going? I'm going to Kimberland.
and what's so funny is it was funny when you would do it, but then other people started doing it, and I was like, "You're so unoriginal." Like,
She's like, it's been done already.
it's
Thank you.
so done. Just like when I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, did your people sing that to you like when you were at work?
Oh, ad nauseum. Ad
You really think
nauseum.
you're the first person that walked up to me and said, "I'm sorry, Miss
It was
Jackson."
either
Ooh.
that or Miss Jackson if you nasty. There was just there was no getting around it. If not, if they weren't going, oh, are you related to the Jacksons? I'm like, okay, yeah, you're cute. And then I married a
So
Jackson, so it didn't help at all.
you've been
I've been
Jackson
since
through
then. Since
it
then.
all. So yeah. So anyway, I want to kind of do that quick explanation of why I be saying my name like that. But my name is Kim. And House of O'Neill, Jackson, and Adams, empathetic, energizer, intuitive, inspirational, innovator, seer of souls who are hurting, healer of hearts, and voice to the voiceless.
Amen.
What up?
Hallelujah. What's happening? Well, I'm Kalonda, first of her name. I don't remember my alphabet. Speaking of banter, something of something, dancer of dreams, excellence enchantress. All of those things in a NOLA native. That is me. I'm definitely looking for love out loud. And I know that God is sending me someone who I do not need reassurance or don't have to decipher. So that's what I'm waiting on. Amen.
Come on,
Hallelujah.
tagline,
Amen.
hallelujah.
Amen.
Wow. Come on then and say the things. So just some quick things so y'all can know how to interact with us because what I've been doing some research, Kalanda, on podcasts,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And watching different podcasts, watching different vlogs and all that kind of stuff, just because I believe that we should always be trying to improve our craft, right?
Correct.
And one of the things that I don't do with intention sometimes that we need to do with intention is remind people like how to like all the ways that they can
Oh,
interact
yes.
and support and like all the things and the things. And it be feeling like to me, like I said that already, but also this might be somebody's first time hanging out. They like, girl, who is
See?
you and where the things and how we do the stuff? So,
Right.
having said that, I want us to kind of let y'all know how we roll here. We are very transparent people. We are using our lives as examples. We already mentioned this. We're a great time. Okay, so it's always going to be some type of laughter that is infused in it because that's just what we do.
You got to.
That's just
Ain't no
that's
no
just who
way.
we are. you know but while you're watching, if you're watching live, you have the opportunity to like and comment, to give us reactions. You can also send us stars if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, you're able to send gifts. Like you can do all of those types
All
of
the
things
things.
with us. Also share, y'all, just sharing the broadcast and sharing the show with somebody like, oh, I was watching this, so you might like it, does a really big job in
Mm-hmm.
helping us. So the other thing, remember, I was like, ooh, I got something else that I want to tell
Yes.
you.
I know.
So we are officially at 606 subscribers on YouTube.
Ba, ba,
Oh
ba,
wait, let me get
ba.
let me find the air horn. My mouse is acting so stupid today. I don't even want to work with
Girl,
me. But pretend that was
look,
it.
Mercury.
So I want to say just 1 month ago, we crossed the 500
Yes.
mark on the page. And that's been over the course of like 2 or 3 years, right? And
Wow.
then within 1 month, we have another 106 subscribers. So we are
That's
on the
phenomenal.
road to 1,000 subscribers. That will help to monetize the page. And then we could just do this. Then we could just
Whoop,
make
whoop,
podcasts
whoop.
all day and
And
just
invite you into our lives and along this journey. It would be a great time for everyone involved.
exactly. So If you are watching and you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. That is a free way to be able to support what we are doing and encourage others to do the same. Again, liking, commenting on the videos. So we've had some folks that come over. They're like, new subbies, hey girl. Like, so super
Love
excited
it.
to have y'all here. And we definitely give you that feedback when we get that energy, because we could feel it through your comments, you know.
Yes.
Um, so the other thing that we wanted to talk about was how to interact with us out in other spaces, because we might be doing other podcasts, being in other places out here in the virtual world and such. So wanted to tell y'all about our emojis. So you had mentioned
Hmm.
just a moment ago that you got your tattoo, you and your mom and
Ah.
all of that. So tell the people your emoji.
So my emojis are ladybugs, which are wonderful symbols of prosperity and good luck, change. They have been following me everywhere. They wind up in my house. I was dreaming about them last night of like
Oh
this really
wow.
big, pretty, like ladybug crawling on this girl's shirt. It was amazing. And then it like flew off into the land. I just can't even, I can't talk about it enough. And then blue hearts, where again, cobalt blue is my absolute favorite color. And I am looking to find that love, not necessarily be in a relationship, you know what I mean, but like just in general, to find a love that is just pure and out loud and something I don't have to decipher, because God knows what my things are, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna send you something you don't have to ask about. Like, you just gonna
Yeah.
know that this person is real and this person is for you, and that's all it is. So if you see me out in
Amen.
these internet streets somewhere, feel free to throw up a ladybug or a blue heart, and I will know you came from So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese.
Yay! And then my emojis are a sunflower and a crayon. So the sunflower represents prosperity and joy and fullness of life.
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of research on sunflowers since I decided that this would be my emoji, and they have also been showing up in the most random of
Ah.
places, like walking and somebody has on leggings that has a sunflower on it. Like it's been really interesting. And the crayon is because there was a season of my life where I was very much living in black and white, and I didn't realize it. And I've been trying to be intentional about transitioning my life from a place of being in black and white to color, because I want to color the fuck out of my life. Like, I want
Look
it to
out.
feel colorful and joyful and all of that. So sunflowers and crayons, and I have been receiving sunflowers. Your mom sends sunflowers all the time.
Aw.
And then I have started, just even in my interactions, like when I'm commenting on different people's things, like I leave them a sunflower. So
Aw.
yeah, it's like it's become a thing. So that's how you can interact with me. And just so y'all know, that's like a super, like, I love you so much type of
Right.
thing, right? Where we know specifically you've come from this community, that you are like, we see you. Okay. Like, we see you, we invested
We
in what's
know.
going on.
Yes. Oh.
Exactly. So, okay. So we got some segments. Now, I sent you the segments and you didn't answer me, girl.
I did answer. I
You
said I did. I checked check. Go look at the receipts. I said, see, now I might be a late responder, y'all, because I'm gonna tell you, Kalonda does talk to herself a lot. So sometimes you will get a text message 8 hours after you texted me, because I answered you in my head. I formulated the response, but I didn't hit send. That does happen, okay? So in Kim's defense, I did answer because she sees it now, but it was later than when she sent the question. So I'm gonna let her go ahead and apologize. We're gonna give you the floor.
My apologies. I see that you responded at 9:41 p.m.
Hours later, I will give her that. It was hours after she sent the text in which she is talking about.
Hey,
Oh my!
go.
I own my shit. I own my shit. It was late. I know why she thought I didn't respond because it was a long time.
Because I saw you read the messages and I was like, is she gonna say anything? And then I was like, so am I okay to go ahead and schedule it? Or like, what do okay? So then I was like, well, I'll just schedule it, and if she don't like it, I guess I'll just change.
That's
I
the
don't know what to say.
thing. Well,
All
look,
right,
and
cool.
I should know better because the other day my mom she sent me a text. No, I sent her a text message. I was just checking on her because I don't know if y'all. I told y'all last week that she broke her foot, right?
I don't
I,
think you shared
I
that.
may not. I may not have. My mom broke her toe in a freak helping me move accident. Bless her heart. She's doing fine now. No one worry. But I was sending her a text to just check on her, and she didn't answer. But she has her red receipts. Side note. Do you call them red receipts or read receipts?
I call them read receipts
So I used to call them read receipts. But then I was like, wait, I wonder if it's red receipts because you're seeing when
because
it was
it
read.
happens when it was.
Friggin'
I've definitely
English.
called it read
English.
receipts.
English is not an easy language. So whatever, read red receipts, whatever you call them, that is what she has on her phone, right? So I could see she read the message. And I'm like,
Uh
she did
huh.
and maybe like 20 minutes passed and she hadn't answered me. So then I followed back up. I'm like, hello, like, are you okay? What's going on? And I saw she read it. And I'm like, I saw you see that.
You ignoring me? What's up?
So look, so my next question, I was like, are you not talking to me? Can you tell me you're not talking to me so I'm not looking like an idiot waiting for this response to this text message? Like,
Oh my god.
that's all I be wanting is clarity, y'all. All I want is
Fact,
clarity.
yo, I
You,
had that exact conversation this week. I was like, hey, clarity is kind.
ooh,
Clarity is kind. And I don't
ooh.
understand your aversion to clarity, but I'ma need it. I'ma need it
Thank
for my
you.
life.
Please clear it up because I'm gonna do about 77 backflips in all the possible scenarios of how we got to this point right here. Like, just tell me what it is so I don't have to figure it out because I'm gonna try to figure it out and I'm gonna try to
Facts.
give you as much grace as possible in this figuring out. So, yeah, I love
And that's
clarity is
nice that you
kind.
do
I
that
like
because
that.
I just wind up having a mental funeral because what I can't do is exercise all these brain cells trying to figure out what the hell wrong with you. And I didn't
Girl,
ask you, and hey, guess what? Fine, you're dead now. You're
I
dead.
will put these sweatbands on. I will get to flipping. Like, let's stretch it out. We gonna see all the ways in which I wronged you to figure out why you would treat me like this. Like, it must be something.
I just kill them off.
Ah,
I literally just kill them
girl.
all. I be like, I
Oh,
can't. And that's why it becomes dangerous, circling back to what we was talking about earlier, enjoying my own company. And then you don't have no communication skills because or you're disingenuous with your community. Go home and leave me alone. Go home. I'm not doing this. Now you're dead. You're dead. Like literally the other
look
day,
what you made me do. You made me kill you. Look what you made
I
me do.
literally had to do this the other day because we done already had a conversation about, hey, you need to use your words. You need to use your words. Oh, you
Oh
don't
my
want to use
god.
your words? Guess what?
We
I'm done.
can't. We can't do this.
I'm
Can't
done.
do it. That's
I
all I got. Because all I got are your words and your actions. And when they don't line up, I am confuddled and I don't know what to do with that. And again, I'm gonna make it my fault. So can we please save me? Please save
I
me.
pray that we release you from that spirit and you can
Please,
come over
Jesus.
here to the mental
Amen.
funeral side.
I just call on the sweet name of Jesus and hope one day he will get that spirit off my heart. I don't know. It's been there forever. But anyway, yes. So I see that my mom is seeing the read receipts. And so she's like, um, she said, well, wait, how did you know that I read it? And I was like, well, it gives a time stamp at the bottom and it says like read 11:12. And she's like,
uh,
oh, like, yeah, thanks. She's like, I was in an appointment. I'm like, you couldn't have just said that.
why don't you just say that?
Just tell me
Just
that.
say that.
I was like, you need to type faster, because she gave me like some answer, but the answer that she gave me actually like induced a response. So I'm like, wait, are you okay? Like, I'm about to leave work. Type faster. What is happening right
But you know what's so funny? That type of like, I'm
now?
gonna call it anxiety because that's what it feels like in my life.
Hmm.
It would drive me crazy. Like me trying to remember to answer people
Mm.
and like actually answer. But then if I look at the notification and then I if I can't mark it back to unread, now it's just
Oh,
gone, but
it's
I'm
gone
not ready
forever.
to answer. So then, or I thought I answered in my head. Like I do that a lot as well. And
Yeah.
now it is so much worse because I don't have notifications on my phone no more.
You gotta rely on the power of your own mind, and that's a scary thing, girl. That's scary. Woo!
Trying. I have been trying to. I guess this is kind of like a update type of thing, but I have been trying to get my routines together for
Hmm.
real so
Yeah.
that I can incorporate checking these different places of
Oh,
communication
okay.
in my
Gotcha.
day. Because what would happen, y'all, the reason I took all the notifications off my phone is because it was too much. I can't, I feel anxiety from having a whole bunch of like numbers and like things like you have to
Badges
do,
and
right?
all the stuff.
Yeah, like that just I
Clear it.
want to
Clear
clear
the
them,
screen.
right?
Yes.
But if I can't clear them, then I'd have to use time to remember them. And it was just making my brain tired. Like my brain was just
Mm,
tired.
mm.
So I decided I'm just going to take them off
Yes.
and we'll see what I gravitate towards and what my natural tendencies are. And then I'll just try to figure out how to remember to go look and stuff. But so I'm saying
That
all
is
this to say
making me
too,
anxious. Just you saying that, it makes me itch. I'm like, there are
why? Because
things
what
that
you
are
feel like might
happening.
happen.
Because there are things that are happening that need your attention that you don't know until you remember on your own to look at. And that sounds real reckless.
But things
Like,
like what? I don't
I don't
necessarily have
know.
things that are happening that need my attention per se.
I feel like if
This
somebody
month
texts something, if you get an email and they're like, "Hey, we need this."
to do
Oh,
what?
like I'm literally like wringing my hands. Like I don't underneath this desk. My hands are like this. Just so you know. Like the thought, just the thought of relying alone on my brain to say, check your email, check your text messages, check your missed call log to see if someone needs, you know what it is? It's the need something. If someone needs something from me, like I need to be available to do that. Mm, 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 mm.
And see, I don't
I'm
want
not doing
nobody
this
to
with
need
you,
nothing.
Kimberlyn. I'm not doing this with you,
I'm
Kimberlyn.
talking about
What?
my life.
Well, I'm just saying.
I
I'm
don't I don't want
reflecting over here.
nobody to need nothing from me right now, right? Because remember, I'm supposed to be pouring into myself, right? And what I had noticed is I was becoming like I don't necessarily think it was dopamine chasing, but I was becoming very obsessive about okay,
Mm.
did I check this? Did I check that? Like did I go there? Does somebody need me? You know, and I was like, hey, I'm unavailable right now. Like I'm available at these particular times. Even there are some people that like I know in real life that
Right.
are like, hey, let's meet, let's hang out, blah blah blah, whatever. And I send them a calendar invite and they're like, oh, well, no, it don't have to be official. And I'm like, if you want to be sure that you
I'm
have
gonna
my
be there.
time and attention, you better get on this calendar because what I want you to understand is outside of this, no telling what I'm doing.
See, and I'm.
And
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't mean to interrupt.
when I like time blindness and time just, I don't know, I'm gonna call it time escapism. I don't know, but like
Mm,
just releasing this concept of time and having to be present for particular things that I can't do it anymore.
Mm.
So I have like actively been like moonwalking out of those types of situations. For instance, I try not to start, which I do sometimes do this, but I try not to start a conversation on any platform if I'm not going to be sitting there to actually have the conversation. But also, you get like a 5 to 10 minute window, maybe, because my attention get I be doing something else. So then after that, if or like if some people take an hour to respond to, child, I will talk to you when I talk to you, right? That's why I was like, you ain't respond
And that's why I'm like,
because we was having.
you are generous with this 5 to 10 minutes. My attention span is like this. Like I will send you that message, close that app, put my phone
And
down,
done.
go about my business, and then when I make it back,
Forgot.
when I pick my phone up again, I'm gonna like it's it's literally like those when you text those people and they were like, oh, 30 seconds later I was asleep. Like I might as well
Yeah.
have fallen asleep because I've literally just I said what I said, I put my phone down and was like, oh shit, we were having a conversation. Like you and I were talking. Like then I did something else. I don't know. I did something else and that stole everything. The
Yeah.
calendar invite is my nightmare because
Really?
oh my god, because my mom, bless her sweet soul, will be like, so and so wants to do this, and it'll be like 3 weeks from now, which
Oh,
makes sense. Which makes
okay.
sense. Like, yes, get on the calendar. Hey, let me, get you down to this. I will think about that thing and think about that thing, and it
Really?
will just be like in my head because ahead of time I don't want to do anything. But say if you call me and are like, "Hey, I'm uptown right now. You want to get lunch?" Like, I'm more likely to say yes to that than,
Really?
"Oh, hey, 3 weeks from now, do you want to drive out to wherever and go to this picnic?" And I'm thinking, now I don't know because what comes that day, I might not want to do that. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna feel like 3 weeks from now on that day and wanting to drive and do these things. So, like, that is its own little
Prison.
piece of
So can you
hell.
put that in tentative? Like, can that be just a tentative thing and I'll let you know the day of?
But see, I feel bad about that. Like,
Why?
I don't know, because I feel like they need this commitment. They're needing to plan how many people need to be there. Do we need to drive separate cars? Like, all the things that need to come into play to make this happen. That I feel like why they're asking about it 3 weeks in advance. So,
Well, that sounds like I
oh
can't
my
commit that far in advance.
God. In
Right
advance.
now,
Right.
it feels like a yes, but I do not know the
I
day
don't
of.
know. The
I
day of,
will
I
not
might not
know
want
until the day
to. Oh,
of.
but
Correct.
that feels awful. But
Why?
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, you know what it makes me think of? You
What?
know exactly. I bet you know exactly what it makes me think of. It makes me think of Nanny.
I
When,
knew you
like,
was gonna say that.
I knew you would know. Like, our grandmother would do that. Like, you would make plans, or you would want to do something with her, and come the day of, she's just not gonna answer the phone. She's not gonna answer the door. Like,
While she looking out the window,
she's showing
yo,
love.
she
Like,
would be looking out the window, washing dishes, and we knocking on the door. Nanny, hey girl, I see you in the
we we said we talked about Anita Baker in concert tonight. We coming to pick you up. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times I was upset because my mom had planned something with her, and day of, she was like, ghost. Before ghosting
Wow.
was a thing, my
Yeah,
grandmother was good at it. Like,
she was ghosting like a mug. That's true.
but now I understand.
I get it
I
too.
I get it. Like, I get a lot of the things now that
Yeah.
I didn't understand then. And I'm like,
I
wow,
also
bless
get
my
why she
heart.
wanted to move back to Mississippi. Cause y'all is vexing my nerves. Okay? I get it.
She's like, I'm not trying to watch these children. I done raised my kids. And y'all don't drop them off just one at a time. It be
In
everybody.
bunches.
That's why today's grandparents are out in these streets like they are. Because they said, I don't know what you heard, but I did mine already. Like, I did my time. I raised my kids.
Get on my
You better hire a,
calendar.
you better hire a babysitter. I'm going out.
Get on my calendar. You know what's so funny? So I'm a horrible godparent. Okay.
Oh no.
Horrible. And when I say horrible, I mean wretched. Okay. But this is why. Because I don't have children.
Oh.
And what what people seem not to understand is the life of someone who doesn't have children is dramatically different from
Yeah,
someone who
it
does,
doesn't
right?
revolve around children.
it,
Yeah.
it don't revolve around children. So the reason I say I'm horrible is because I got fired as a godparent.
Stop.
I didn't know though until I
Oh,
had to figure it out. And then I was
wait,
like, oh, I guess I'm no
wait
longer
a
a
minute.
godparent.
But does that stop how you interact with the child though?
So I didn't ever get to have no interaction with the child for real because I got fired so quickly on. So let me tell you what happened.
So how you get fired so quick? Right, exactly.
Okay. So let me tell you what happened. So I had a friend. These people are no longer, I don't even talk to any of them anymore. They kicked me out the group.
Okay.
They kicked me
Oh,
out the group chat and out their life.
oh
So,
yes,
anyways,
indeed.
so I had a friend. And she was actually, I'll just say I had a friend. So my friend was having a baby, and I had introduced my friend to another friend.
Uh-huh.
Okay. One time she wants to go to church. And I was like, I called my other friend. I was like, hey, can you like sit with her at church, make sure she good at or whatever. So all of us formed a friendship, right? The three of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the friend gets pregnant
Mm-hmm.
and we do baby shower, gender reveal. Like she asked us to be the godparents. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so awesome, like all the things, right? Okay, so we do all of that. So then the baby gets here. Okay, spend the time with the baby, like all of that. And then sometime during the time that the baby, this before the baby was born, the parents, my friend, called one day. Let's say it's a Tuesday. And she
Okay.
was like, hey, can you watch the baby Thursday night? And I was like, no, I have I have to work, like or whatever I was doing. I don't know what I was doing.
Right. Something happened. Yeah.
At the time, I was doing professional development. So I was training after school. I
Mm-hmm.
was involved in church. I was like, I had my own life. My life
Right.
don't revolve around kids. I had Jack,
Right. Right.
and that was that. Okay. So can you watch the baby on Thursday? Like I was like, no, but like I need more time. Like I need you to give me a
Right.
window of time. Like I'm scheduling, my calendar was wild at that time. So I'm like, I'm scheduling things 3 months in advance. Like
See?
I don't I can't you can't just call me on Tuesday and be like, hey, can you watch me on Thursday? Like that's not how that works because I don't have kids. So I don't have to be home at
All
six,
right. I'm
seven
not
o'clock doing
planning.
bath and
Right.
dinner and putting them in bed. I don't have to do that. Jack,
Right.
we gotta
We on a
understand
different schedule. Right. He know.
we get it. So
You gonna eat today.
I ain't really never hear from her again after that. She never asked me to watch the baby again, ever. And like I said, this was within the child's first year of life. Okay.
Oh
And
wow.
then so she never asked me to watch the baby again. She stopped sending pictures of the baby, like all of that, right? So then
After one, I can't do it with 2 day notice.
I'm just saying these things aligned. I'm not in people's heads, so I don't know what happened. So I had asked my friend, right, the other guy parent. So
Right.
I was like, "Is everything okay?" Because like I don't, because I used to watch her baby all the time
Right.
because schedule it. She'd be like, "Hey, in 3 weeks, me and my husband want to go to a concert. Can you?
Right.
Yeah, bring him over. We making banana pancakes. We having a blast."
Everything's great. Yeah.
Okay, because it's on my calendar. But like, no, my life doesn't work like that. For you to just pop up and
Right now. 30 minutes from now, can you be at my house?
no. So the other friend was like, "Oh, I don't know, blah blah." Well, turns out they was plotting to kick me out the group chat. So now the my other friend that had two more kids. I don't even know them kids. I don't know nothing but like they literally erased me out of the godmothership.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Oh.
because I
I
couldn't watch the baby.
yes indeed. That's wild.
Yeah,
I mean, I would think I guess that's when we don't really talk about the expectation when people name people godparents now. Because you hear that story a lot of like, oh,
really.
so and so is my godparent, but I don't ever talk to them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like something happened along the way, or you name somebody as your godparent, and then magically now they're no longer in your life. Like, that's just how it goes. And even so much as I've had friends say, like, no, I'm not going to make you the godparent because that's
mm.
how that goes. You know, like it means
Wow.
you like something's gonna happen or what have you. But I mean something still wound up happening. But still but it was like, okay. But yeah, you don't really talk about what that intention is. Cause like the formal version of that is, hey, should something happen to me, you'll continue raising this child along the faith in which that I have agreed upon
Mhm.
and make sure that they make it into heaven. Like that's a godparent. Like that's
Mhm.
the definition of a godparent. But you know, apparently some people think it's babysitting duty whenever at a drop of a dime. Like that's not what that is. Like, yes, I want to be a part of this person's life. I want to help, you know, formulate them, make sure that they have another relationship with Christ, but that they also have another outlet, you know, if they feel like my mama is crazy, I can't talk to
Right,
her about
right.
whatever, like you're going to be the person that I can talk to that's still going to give me advice and keep me from running off the deep end. But like, we don't really talk about what that role means when we're asking people to do it. So that's crazy though. I just can't
Yeah.
imagine a one and done scenario of like, oh, okay, I was busy Thursday, but if you said Friday or Saturday, like I can watch them then because I don't have anything those nights, you know? But like you said, they had already planned. That was something that they already had in their head, I guess, you know, to do. And that was just the reason
Apparently.
that they used to say, okay, see, this is why.
And
That was
then, of course, I left, right?
right.
So then that's another excuse,
Yeah.
right? That I don't live in the same
Exactly.
city any longer.
Oh,
So it was like that's a wild story. That's only just a part of it, but
yeah, I'm
they
sure.
doing their own situation
Okay.
now, which is interesting. But I have another godchild, and I was talking to her mom about this because they live in Indiana
Mm-hmm.
and I've never lived there, right?
All
That was
right.
never the intention. But we were talking about because this godchild, she's in college now, and like we were talking about that, and I was saying, she wanted to come out here, she could, like it's totally fine and all of that. And I was telling my friend about the other godchild situation, and she was like, "That's not what this means. Like that is not what this is for." And I was like, "Well." Apparently,
That's what
you're
she thought
supposed
it
to be
was.
the party planner and the babysitter, and like, okay, girl, like,
Like that's not it.
I can't deal. So yeah, so I don't even remember how we got on that, but
Girl,
that happened.
that happens.
But this is what I had wanted to ask you. So the title of the episodes we got segments because
Yes.
we were thinking through some of the things of what this looks like to make this a little bit more structured because we really just begin on here and
There's
talking.
no structure. There
Always
is a
with purpose
structure.
though.
Yeah, I'm about to say there is a structure. I won't say there's no structure. I won't say that. I refuse to take that label. But it is pretty fine by the seat of your pants, and let's see where it takes us. There are
Which is part of
guidelines.
the vibe here.
Yes,
Okay.
there are
So also
guidelines.
just because they're structured don't mean it's gonna always be
Happen
to
in
that
that
T.
way. You know?
It just kind of helps us structure our thoughts.
Yes.
But the reason I had thought about it is because one of the segments that I think would be really fun is the rabbit hole.
Yes.
And as neurodivergent,
Ah,
neurospicy folks, we love a good rabbit hole. Like the
amen.
rabbit holes be rabbit holing, all right? And
Girl.
lately, I have been watching Tabitha Brown a lot.
Okay. Okay.
She's videos have been getting suggested, and it's like a whole list. I didn't want to flood you with all the things. I was just like, hey, watch this. Let's see what
Let's
this is
see
about.
what you think.
But it's
Right.
so many. She's been on Kevin Hart's podcast. She was
Yes.
on this lady, Morgan DeBon, I think her name is.
Oh
She's
wow.
the creator of Blavity.
Oh, okay.
She has a
Blavity.
podcast, like is now one of my new favoriteest podcasts. She actually had Amanda Seals on there the other day, and that was another one I was, but anyway, so
That,
Tab,
yes.
focus, as Tab was saying. Tab was on, I've been watching her podcast a lot. So she also, and I've been following Tab for not since TTLA,
Uh-huh.
but I remember TTLA coming across my screen, but I didn't really get invested until maybe a few months later.
Oh, okay.
So, but I used to always watch her and her daughter Choice do Very Good Mondays, and then she would do Fridays where Tab and Chance. So since then, they have, Tab has exploded, and
Yes.
she just
All
out
the
here
things.
just
She's everywhere.
vivid. It is so beautiful to watch.
Everywhere.
It is so beautiful to watch. And how authentic she is to who she is,
Mm-hmm.
and her freedom from code switching and freedom from what the industry told us. And I
Mm.
don't know if you all know this, but I am a trained actor as well, actor, model, host, and kind of living in that space. They would tell us like not to be on social media, don't be talking,
Mm-hmm.
don't be doing these things or whatever. So it's kind of like in stark contrast to what the industry was saying.
Right. Right.
So Tab was like, I know what God told me to do, and that's what I'm finna do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we doing.
That's what we're doing.
And I resonate with her stories so much. So anyway, so the other day, I was looking for something to watch, and I had pulled up the latest episode of Fridays with Tab and Chance, and it was the episode about incarceration.
Okay.
And at first, did you have a chance to watch it?
I did not.
You did
I
not.
started
Okay,
it,
no worries.
but that was as
No
far
worries.
as I got. I start a lot of things. I do. I do. I don't
No
finish
worries.
them, but
It's okay.
the intent is there. It's
It's
on
just
the
like
list. It's on the
the
list. On the list.
it's okay because you'll be able to participate even
Appreciate
if
it.
you didn't.
Okay, good. Oh, good.
And also I want to tell you all, if you all are interested in the episode that I'm talking about, we made a playlist on the YouTube page, of rabbit hole, like things that we're
Things
going to
to get
talk about in the
into.
rabbit hole. So
Yes.
you can go to the video and you can watch it and you can dive down the rabbit hole with us. So
Yes.
basically, in the episode, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I can relate to this because I don't really have experience for real with prisons or
Mm-hmm.
people being incarcerated or what have you. But I was like, I don't know if I can relate to this. But then I started watching it, and then I was like, I can very much relate to this. So then I remembered that you can also relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that they were talking about, and we do have a family member that is incarcerated right now, which still kind of
Yes.
like trips me out
Yeah.
because I was very adjacent
Mm-hmm.
to that. And in my mind, things are still mixed up of what actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very interesting. But one of the things that was a, how do I want to say, Tab was talking about communicating with people who are incarcerated. And I thought to myself, on there are some levels that I feel like I can relate to people who are incarcerated, because though you are alive, you have been forgotten about in many
Mm-hmm.
ways in many
Yeah.
people's lives, but you're still
Right.
here.
Yes.
Right now, granted, I'm not in prison and don't ever plan on going,
Knock on
but
wood,
I
Lord
feel
Jesus.
like that sometimes, that I'm alive, but I don't exist in people's real life. So I was
Mm.
becoming like very empathetic to
Mm.
what someone who is incarcerated might feel like. And then I also watch I'm Not a Lawyer, but which
Oh.
is Melanie Goolsby's YouTube page, and she is Melissa Frederick, so Kevin on Stage's wife's real life sister.
Yes.
So on Mel's page, she's following the YSL trial right now.
Mm.
And girl,
Which
it's a
is its own
circus.
thing. I want to say,
It
which is,
is a
I just
circus.
hear little bits and pieces of it when something sensational happens, which is every
Child.
other day. But you know,
Every other day lately, girl. It is a circus. Okay. So I don't like watch the trial, but I watch Mel's recaps or
yeah,
whatever, right? And it just puts on display like how much injustice is happening within the
yeah,
justice system.
correct.
And that those injustices are happening regardless of whether the person is white or black, like the
Hmm.
judges or the
Yes,
prosecutors, like the system is doing what the system does.
right,
So it makes
right.
me feel very conflicted
Mm.
in my spirit because half the times I be like, why don't y'all let them boys go home?
Yeah,
Like, because y'all doing the
y'all don't
most
have
right
it together.
now.
Y'all don't have it together. What is going on?
Like, y'all making up stuff, y'all coercing people. Like, it's a lie. Let them boys go home and y'all start over because
Right.
y'all just making stuff up and that's not right. And they
Correct.
might have done some of it, but it's like you seeing how much injustice is happening. You're like, this is
Like,
wrong.
well, this
So
might be a
anyway,
wash.
right. So my like views on prison and stuff have changed like dramatically.
Hmm.
But one of the things that I remember is what it felt like. So when I was in Tampa, at my church, they were doing outreach, like
Hmm.
prison outreach mentorship for girls.
Oh, okay.
And the training was held inside the girls' facility. Okay,
Hmm.
so these are, like students, like student
Yeah.
aged girls.
Okay.
After that one experience. And we didn't have any experience with the girls directly,
Oh.
but it was the don't bring this in here, don't bring that, don't do that, don't do this, get here, give me your keys, get that, now go through, let me unlock this heavy ass door, clink, 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 and then step in here, now let me shut that door, now let me unlock this door. Like it was a lot. And then when we stepped, like, so if you can imagine, there was like a hallway, and then the open space was like out here. The
Uh-huh.
girls were around the corner, but when they heard the door open, it was like, ah, what y'all? And I was like, "Eek,
Huh?
eek," and I never returned.
Oh.
And I said all that to say, I wonder. I wonder what your experience has been like
Hmm.
because Chance was saying like Chance is a former law enforcement officer, so
Uh-huh.
he was saying even he was like I don't like jails and prisons, like
Yeah.
I'm not visiting nobody, like I
Right.
don't like it. And he was like, even though I had to interact with it being in law enforcement, he was like, I don't like it, and that's how I feel. So I was
Hmm.
wondering because I know that you have some different experiences.
Yes.
That was a big build up. Sorry, but context.
No, you were good. Context is important. No, definitely. I had to visit, and this was when I was younger. I was probably, oh my God, like seven, probably 6 to 9, I would say
Okay.
was probably when this happened. Where I would be visiting someone who was in Angola, and it
Oh,
was
and you went
very,
to Angola, Kalanda?
yeah. So
Kalanda.
it was like having to take. I remember now, granted, trauma, so memory not that
I
great,
understand.
bits
Yeah.
and pieces, flashes, photos, kind of thing. But um, like I remember having like we went to one place, like you would go to this place first, and then you would get on a bus and have to
Uh-huh.
take a ride forever. Like I don't even to this day I couldn't tell you where Angola is. Like
In the
I just
middle of a
know
plantation
it was
somewhere.
a long bus ride somewhere. And I
Mm-hmm.
always randomly the things you remember, like Sarah. The ride there, I remember like all the power lines because I'd be looking out the
Mm.
windows, and they would have like
Mm-hmm.
these. They look like basketballs on the power lines, like these just big orange domes. And to me,
Interesting.
they were basketballs. So I would see them
Uh-huh.
and like kind of like focus on those as we're riding on this bus to the prison. Then you get to the prison and go through like this intake, like visitor intake. And I mean, as a kid, it's like, okay, going through your things. My mom before I left had to make sure I didn't have anything on me that would like get confiscated or be, banned or whatever. And then when you get there, it's not like, the guards are particularly like soft
Nice.
handed. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're just like, this is a job, this is what it is. Like, we need to make sure. And it, like, hindsight, they're like that because people do things that, you
Right.
know, make it
Require
dangerous. And
them. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
to be that way. Like, I'm sure they don't want to be like manhandling an 8-year old, but someone's put something on an 8-year old's person that's made it
Right.
necessary to do that.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
going through it was very interesting because it was just like, Jesus, like, I just want to visit this person. I haven't seen
Yeah.
them in forever and I just want to see them. So it was just all of this like anticipation and just like, you almost feel like, wow, if this is what happens just to visit them, what happens every day to live in this situation? Um, but then like you're sitting, I remember just like sitting at these long lunch tables, like waiting for them to come in.
Mm.
So it's like a waiting game. You just sit and you wait for them to come. Sarah. You just sit and wait for them to come. And every time the door opens, you look and it's like, okay, no, that's not them. And when the door
Mm.
opens again, no, it's not them. And then they come and you're like, yay. And so they let you hug for like a second, but they're not like
Okay.
trying to let there be a whole lot of physical contact. You take pictures. And I guess like I don't know how this happened, but I don't know if that was that they were like making crafts ahead of time to have them for you or what. But like I would always get like one of those either leather purses with
I
like your
remember the
name
purses.
embossed in it, or sandals with your initials, or like a belt,
Mhm.
or I used
Mhm.
to love the little puzzle pictures. Um, like I had all those things, of just like, oh, this person was thinking of me and this is what they thought. In my head, I thought that he made them. And I think in some cases he did, but in other cases I
Okay.
think it was other prisoners who were just artists that did it.
Oh, and they
So
got some commissioned.
right. And so they said, hey, can you
Yeah.
make this for me? But most of them I think he made. And so it was just like really,
Wow.
really nice and like
Yeah.
just all sorts of things. But as a kid visiting someone there, it's really, you don't really know what's going on. You just know this person is in jail, something happened, and they can't be free. And I just remember knowing that that was going to be a very long time before I would see
Mm.
them out of prison you know
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and then as far as like our current family member, like I remember being a little bit closer because I think I heard about it like the night it happened. And so then
Mhm.
I reached out to a friend of mine who's in law enforcement to figure out what was
Mm.
going on. And like, hey, can you look into this for me and tell me what's going on, or is there anything we can do? But like it was very much secondhand, don't really know what's happening at this point. Um, so I don't know, prison for kids is hard. I it wasn't something I went to regularly where it was like, oh, every third Saturday you're
Okay.
going to Angola or whatever. It wasn't
Mhm.
like that. So I can't imagine though for a kid that does do that, because I know that there are several, that have to go through that it would be very difficult. Um, because it's hard not to empathize with the people who have to live there every day. Like just
Mhm.
getting that glimpse of this is what I have to go through just to get into this to see them. What are they going through every day when they're living this prospect? And as kids, we have no point of reference. You just
Mhm.
see what you see and you see what's on TV and you try to like make that fit.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
my experience with like kids in prison. Was just, it was nice. I wanted to see them, but it was sad, because you knew they couldn't leave and that's where they had to be. And like,
Mhm.
you didn't know what the day to day looked like. And now in
And you would
hindsight,
wonder about the day to day?
oh,
Like, do you
yeah.
feel like okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it was like, well, what are you doing every day? Like, how
Uh-huh.
are you existing? Is it safe? And then especially once you get older and can look back on it, you're like, Oh, I wonder if they were going through these different trials and tribulations and like navigating the politics of political, prison life, that we
Yeah.
see on TV to know that that's true, of like, what's this hierarchy and were they safe and, were they constantly scared or were they
Mhm.
someone who was respected so they didn't have to worry about that and what kind of things they had to do to be respected, it's
Right.
like you don't know this and
Yeah.
you can't imagine what that person when they come out of that how that sticks with them because when you've been institutionalized, I even liken it to being in the military. They're both to me very similar,
I
of
agree.
this person's mindset is forever changed because they've been conditioned to behave a certain way,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know um I'm actually listening to this audio book right now from David Goggins called Can't Hurt Me. And he's a Navy SEAL who's been through a lot and just how he's come through it and focusing on his mindset, like hearing how he calls it like callousing your brain, when you
Mhm.
have to say, like, you know what, this is how life is. It's choice. It's choice based. You can decide what you want this to look like. And every opportunity is a choice for you. Now you can pick
Mhm.
the easy way and say, I don't want to go through this anymore. Or you can pick the hard way and say, I'm gonna dig in and make sure that I come out on top and I know that I'm not at my full capacity as a human. I'm putting out
Mhm.
40% at best. How do I unlock this other 60% and actively trying to push
Mhm.
yourself to these points? Um, it's really inspirational because it wasn't a book that I thought I would resonate with because it is very military based on like his
Mhm.
experience and he's very active and it's all about his like physical fitness. But when you just apply, and Lord knows I'm not running. Um, excuse me. Um, but it definitely is. It's a way of thinking and how
Mhm.
hard you push yourself to say, you know what, this is not my limit. I can take more than this. Am I willing to put in the work to go for it? And in
Mm.
his book he talks about it very strategically of, you know if you're in pain, what happens if you last a second longer? Okay, if you last a second longer, then can you last another second longer? To where you get to the
Mm.
point of saying, before the pain starts, anticipating it and saying, this is what's going to happen. This is what my body's going to go through. This is what my brain is going to tell me. Like when you decide to quit, that's not the moment you decided to quit. You decided a long time ago that you weren't going to make it through this. So, how do you have that conversation with yourself before it gets to that point of saying, this is going to be tough. This is not something I'm comfortable with. I'm not a subject expert in this particular manner. How do I keep going? Like, I'm going to tell myself, what's my why? Because you're going to ask yourself at some point, why
Mhm.
am I doing
Mhm.
this? Why
Right.
am I putting myself through this? You have to find your why and be true to that and saying, okay, if this is what I'm going to do, how am I going to look at myself if I don't continue on this path? And
Mm.
being honest with yourself to say, I'm not going to feel good about it. I'm going to feel like a failure. I'm going to feel like I let people down. Okay, is that worth stopping? Like, is that worth giving up? And if you say no, it's not, then you keep going. Put that next foot in
Okay.
front of the other. Find that next piece to the puzzle. Talk to the person who is succeeding and find that next step. But I always love the callousing your mind because your mind is your biggest opponent. It's not your body. Your body can withstand so much more than you give it credit
Mm.
for, but it's the
Mm.
fact that what you think you can do is where you lose
Mhm.
the battle. When you say, oh, I can't do it again, I can't take another step, I can't take another heartbreak, I can't take another disappointment in the job. And it's like, but you can, because you don't know if that's the last breakthrough that you need to get where you want to
Mm.
go. Like, take that next step. Don't be afraid. It's on the other side of it, and what are the lessons that you're learning right now? Because that's going to not only help you, but help other people when you tell this story of how
Right.
you got over, and
Right.
being mindful of that, and he was just very intentional through each of his steps,
Mhm.
and it's something that's really interesting to see and hear, because I'm hearing him describe stuff and I'm like, why are you doing that to yourself? Like,
Mhm.
why would you put yourself through this physical pain? But even if you take the physical part about it out and just apply the mental piece, you think of all the things that people do to themselves mentally all the time and go, why are you
Girl.
fighting so hard? Like, why are you
Yeah.
pushing to move this? But when you feel called to do
Yeah.
this thing, it doesn't matter what you're going through. Like, you know that that's your purpose, and you continue to
Mm.
work in that, and you want to share that with other people, because it's like, no, this is the way. This is the way, and your brain is literally telling you that you can't do it, and you cannot listen to your brain. You are in control of your mind. Your mind is not in control of you. So really getting to that part is huge. And it was definitely a
Yeah.
lesson I needed, which is far away from the whole prison piece. But that is kind of how I liken it, in the sense of like, what are you gonna do with this? You come out of prison, you're labeled a prisoner, you're seen as someone who's had this horrible past. Is that what you're gonna let define you? Or are you
Mhm.
gonna continue to work in your purpose and walk in your purpose and stand up to those people and say, no, this is who I am. This is what I bring to the table. This is my purpose. And I needed to go through that to get here,
Right. Right. Right.
and really speak to
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. That definitely sounds familiar,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because of the military part of
Mm-hmm.
it. I can hear Lewis saying things like that. Like, I just know I have to like go through this, and then we'll see what happens. Like, after that. And that was such a hard thing for me to grasp,
Mm-hmm.
of continuing to have to condition my mind to endure some type
Mm-hmm.
of adverse condition to be able to get to the other side of
Yeah.
whatever. And that's also why my choice was
Right.
to leave the country, because I just felt like I don't want to have to do that. Like, I want to be able to do that, but not also while the bricks of the building are pressing me down to the
Right.
floor.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
want to be able to like learn how to do that and practice that and all of that under conditions that are not so oppressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but I can
Absolutely.
definitely appreciate, it is in our mind. And you mentioned something like in this, and this is the rabbit hole, y'all, so it kind of goes wherever it
Where it
goes, right?
goes.
For where it goes. But you have mentioned, like, prisoners when they get out and what that looks like. So that was one of the things Tab kept saying about making sure that you don't throw people away,
Mhm.
right? um and both her and Chance like had a different line of like where it would be unforgivable, if you
Mhm.
will.
Mhm.
But I think the thing that is so interesting in the US that I thought was normal and I thought was just this how everybody does it is the way that we do treat people who are in jail and prison. We don't treat them like humans.
Correct.
And then when they get out, we expect for them to act like humans, but we're not
We've never
treating them
treated
like
them as such.
humans.
Correct.
So it's like this concept of humanity for me is something that has really, I feel like it's the easiest way for people to understand, and it also should be the most relatable way for people to understand of these are human beings.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the worst of the worst crimes and all of that. I'm not quite sure what that looks like. I haven't had that experience per se to have to try to navigate all of that.
Mhm.
But for instance, in countries like Norway, their prisoners live in like dorm
Right.
style apartments,
Apartments. Yeah.
they do get to visit their family, or their
Yeah,
family gets to visit them, and they maintain
they're
contact with
still
their
a part
family.
of the
And
society. Yeah.
yeah, and then also thinking about the US prison industrial complex, right? And its roots in systemic racism and all of that. It's like most of the people that are in prison, there could have been another way, like to
Hmm.
treat them, to help them to make different choices, what have you. And it just always, anytime I hear about prisoners, I always try to stop and think about their humanity. But what I know is that many people don't.
No.
And I know that I used to be one of those people. Like, so I didn't have your experience as a child, with seeing the humanity of a person and like juxtaposing that and having empathy. Um I think that might have been the first time that I ever went to a prison, was when I had that experience, and I was like, I won't ever go back.
Hmm.
So for me, it was always, they're bad people,
Right.
and
That's
they
what
deserve
they
to
got,
be
what
there.
they deserve. Right.
They got what they deserve. And then, like, over the course of my time, I remember in school we had watched Dead Man Walking,
Hmm.
with Susan Sarandon. And I remember at that time, like, questioning myself about how I felt about the death penalty, because I was like, but if they say we not they it's not right to kill, then why we killing them? But if God's supposed to judge, then how we saying that they deserve to die? Like, I get, okay, they got to be in prison, but we taking life, like, it just never like made sense in my
Hmm.
mind. And then Shawshank Redemption is another one of my favorite movies, and that talks to how when you get out, a lot of times they try to go back in because that's where their family is. You never seen Shawshank Redemption? Wow.
I know. I know. I literally just watched The Notebook for the first time like a month ago. Like,
What
if that
is
long.
happening over there in your side of the world?
I know. I know. I know. Yeah, I hadn't seen Friday till I was well in my 30s. Like,
Really?
well, oh girl. Yeah. I don't know. I watch random stuff. I don't always watch like the I don't know. But yes, I have not seen Shawshank Redemption. I have an idea of the plot of
Lord Jesus.
but I was like, I
Well,
hope she says Green Mile. I'm like, I've seen Green Mile. I'm
but
like,
that's
God was
another one.
you, me, and you.
Yeah, that's another one that made me, but it really made me like wonder and question, like,
Yes.
where I land on these things.
Hmm.
And I think it's to your point too of what you were saying with the book that you were listening to. What you're describing is called metacognition.
Hmm.
And a lot of people are not willing to go through those process of investigating your thoughts and asking
Hmm.
yourself questions and making conscious decisions to show up differently and like all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. So it's really cool when you get to hear somebody's metacognitive
Oh, it's
process,
amazing. I
and
love it.
like the
Yes.
strategy they use
Yes.
and all of that. um because a lot of the work that we should be doing to interrogate our biases and really try to show up as better human beings
That's where it
lives in
starts. Yeah.
the awareness of how we think, how our thoughts were formed, like asking questions about it and like challenging yourself and pushing
Yes.
yourself to see someone else's perspective. Like,
Hmm.
all of that is higher level thinking.
Right.
And I just want to go on record as letting you know that it is higher level thinking. And
Right.
everybody can't do it. I'm not gonna say they can't. They can. Everybody's
Everybody
not
does it.
willing to
Not
do it.
everyone does it. Right. Because it
So
definitely makes a huge impact. I mean, just being curious enough to say, how did you get here? Like, I just
yeah,
want to understand your thought process. Because if I can understand it, then maybe I can apply it and get to where you are. You know, like,
right.
I'm genuinely curious to know how you got here, and it's not
Yeah.
to put you down. It's just because I want to understand. Like, okay, that's not how my mind saw it, but the way you put it, I could see how you got there, and I think we just don't respect that perspective enough. Of if there's a six painted on the floor, if you're standing on the left side of it or the right side of it, or top to the bottom, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it may look like a six to one person and a nine to the other. Like neither
Right.
one of you is wrong. That's just your
Right.
perspective,
Yeah.
and it's like, why is that not, you know, honored more, of just saying, hey, we may just be looking at things from a different angle, and this is how I'm seeing it, and be able to just appreciate that. I don't
Yeah.
know why my phone likes to do
I don't know. I think we very, very much collective
Yes,
um
don't mind
are
this blank
afraid of
screen for a second.
judgment.
Right.
Uh-huh. I think we're very much afraid of judgment because a lot of times what I've learned, like I adopted this phrase in my life, a motto, curiosity over judgment,
Mm,
because I realized that I wasn't asking as many questions as I needed to be informed as I needed to be. And I
mm-hmm.
was busy just being like, yes, no, in, out,
This
black,
is how it
white,
is.
like,
Right.
and it has become such a more freeing way to be when I just ask questions and get curious, but
Mm.
also recognizing that people don't like to answer those questions, or they don't know the answer. Like they don't have the ability yet to go through their metacognitive thought, and it feels
Right.
difficult, or it feels like an attack when it's not meant to
Mm.
be an attack. It's actually
No.
supposed it's meant to be like,
Seeking
let's draw
information.
in.
Yes.
Let's go down the rabbit hole together.
Right. Like together. I want to go with you. Like I may not
Yeah.
agree with you right now. That's fine. It's not about agreeing. You're not always
Right.
gonna
It's
agree.
about
It's
understanding.
about understanding. Like
Yeah.
God, like just I want to be understood. Like I want to
Yes.
understand you and be like, okay,
Yes.
that's how you got there. That makes sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Like you can appreciate those things.
Yeah. So I want to do what might feel like a turn, but I
Okay.
want to create some space for this question of what brings you joy, because when you said I just want to be understood, right?
Yes.
And this is a question that we've had on our homework assignment, hard work assignment since the beginning.
From the beginning.
And I was like, we need to make this a segment so that we can hold ourselves accountable to this. So I had mentioned earlier, I had mentioned PJ Morton.
Yes.
And PJ Morton is someone that I am a huge fan of. Like when I say huge, I mean
Yes.
gigantic.
Like
But
I
I
think of
don't know
you
if
every
people know
time I
why.
listen to him.
Do you? So
Absolutely.
PJ and I grew up in the same church, Greater St. Stephen's, right? PJ and I are the same age. I went to prep. He went to St. Aug's. So these are sister schools in New Orleans. My school was all girls, his school was all boys. But I really got interested in PJ and his work when we were like 11. So we were in the choir. Well, I was in the choir, and of course, he's Bishop's son, right?
Right.
So, special,
Right.
but also special.
Right.
So we were having choir rehearsal, and what I thought was most fascinating about him is that he could play the piano without reading music. He played it by
Mm,
ear.
gotcha.
So somebody would be like, the first song that he ever did a solo on was No Weapon
Oh,
by
okay.
Fred Hammond. Okay. And he didn't want to do it. He didn't
Oh,
want to sing. Like he was fine with playing, but he was like, I don't want to sing. And it was like a thing.
yeah.
But I was always so fascinated of how like the his musical ear, like it's like this is
Hmm.
wild. Then I got really fascinated with seeing him start his music career, which was not gospel.
Right.
And I thought that was so interesting. And I was like, not necessarily shocked, but I was like, man, that's dope that he's able to do his own thing.
Right.
And followed him. He had a CD with his sister. Was there first, and then he went off to Morehouse and made more music and like all of that. So, but also the drummer in PJ's band, Ed Clark, me and his sister went to school together,
Uh,
and Ed was the choir director at one point. So we had like a young Kirk Franklin in the family situation going
yes.
on, with the young adults or the young teen choir, whatever they was calling it. Um but anyway, so I know these people in real life, right? So just to watch PJ, his thumbprint is on so
So much
many.
music.
Oh my God. And he has like this unique sound.
Yes.
And to me, it feels like home. It
Yeah.
feels cozy. It feels very much like bringing you in.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that I love about PJ is the way that he transitions.
Mm,
He used to have, I think it's the album, the live show, it is the live show
yeah.
Killer, because his live shows, if y'all ain't never been to a PJ Morton live
It's
concert,
amazing.
baby,
It's a good time.
let me
It's a good
tell you,
time. You get a
it
little bit
is.
of everything. He draws you in. It's very intentional of like, I want you to feel this. You're a part of the show when you're at his show.
It is my favorite. It is
Oh,
my favorite thing to do. Like I have seen him in concert, I don't know how many times. Um, so I just be so proud like every time because it really is. Now, let me say this, like PJ probably can't pick me out in the lineup, okay? We grew up adjacent to each other. Like, so that's why I'm like describing these circles, right? So also I want y'all to be like, she said she and PJ best friends. I know. But his spirit is so humble,
mm,
and it comes through in his music. It comes
mm.
through in the intentionality and the ways that he chooses to compose. Like when I tell you, I just be so proud. Like I really just be like, you better do that, PJ. That. So yesterday, the new song came on. I found you, and this the other thing though. I do have a beef with PJ Morton right quick.
Uh-oh. Oh, stuff.
The songs don't be long enough.
Oh, but that's the thing. We talked about that, I think, before. The nowadays, like the
I
songs are
don't
too
like this
short.
two and a half, three
Two and a
minute
half, 3 minutes.
situation.
Give me a 5, 6 minute song and let me vibe out. Like Tiana Taylor, I love her music. That last
Yes.
CD she did with Kanye was like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And I'm like, I'm really just getting into the vibe of it and it's over. Like,
And that's
okay,
why I got to put it on repeat
exactly.
because
That's
it's
just what I was
literally
about to
just
say.
two and
Yes,
a half minutes.
yes. I need more of that. I wasn't done with that feeling. I'm still in the middle of it. Yeah, I
So,
don't know
so
why.
now here we are 30 minutes later and
But
I got
you
it on
look
loop.
at you look at like the TikTok nation now, everybody's on a minute. But it's funny because now TikTok you can do up to like 10 minutes. There's some that you
Yeah.
can do long form video or long form. Whoever thought 10 minutes would be long form. But you can do 10 minutes of time. But essentially it's like you have to catch people's attention in like 30 seconds or they're on to the next thing. So I guess that's kind of what's
I don't like my
driving.
music that way.
No, I
I
want to
don't
hear
want
it. I want to feel it.
yeah.
I want to vibe. I want to dance. I want to
Yeah.
cry. Like, I want to live in that moment. Give me
Yes.
that moment. Yes.
Yeah. So that's my beef
Mm,
with PJ. The songs don't be long enough. So
mm,
you just be getting started in the thing and then it be over.
mm,
But PJ and everything, like he's one of those artists to me where like he can do no wrong.
mm.
Okay? He can do no wrong. And then like you talk about remixes,
Oh,
like the man will take the same songs three, four different iterations, and it feels like an entirely new
yeah.
album.
Yeah. Get into it. Get
Get
into it.
into it. PJ Morton. If you are not already familiar, go up over to the YouTubes, to the Spotify, to wherever you get music and things and such, and get on PJ Morton. Okay.
There you go.
If you had to tell somebody where to start with a PJ Morton album, where would
Oh,
you say?
well, so for me, it's very Nola native. Like I love his bounce CD. I love his bounce CD. I can't like it's still in my playlist today. Like if I press my playlist, PJ Morton's bounce versions are all throughout it. And I'm just like, he had Stevie Wonder, he had
Yes.
Juvenile, like
Yes.
it was all you had the range. You want to talk about options? I'm a girl who loves options. That CD gives you everything with a New
Yes.
Orleans beat, which I already find fascinating on regular everyday songs. So it was that was where I would say start, just because it's all of it. It encapsulates New Orleans, his artistry, his musicianship with other artists. Like just you could see a little bit of everything with that for me, for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would say the Gumbo Live album.
Oh.
The one with Yebba on
Yes.
there,
Oh my
BJ the Kid,
god.
Hamiltons were
Mhm.
on there, the Amours.
Oh my god.
Um, I think I would say start there. The live
The
though.
live version. Yes.
And then if you go from there, then you might want to head on over to the mansion. Uh
Mm.
the mansion, what was this? Oh, but I forgot about Paul.
Oh, Paul was
Ah,
good.
it's
He has
so
all the
many.
music, and
Y'all
people
just
don't
press
know.
shuffle.
People don't know. Just let it ride. It's he has an awesome voice and spirit that translates through the music. Like, yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
guy. Because like I feel like now we don't get a lot of just male singers who are male artists. Like they're still out there, obviously, but they're just not brought to the forefront. And he has a
Mhm.
really good discography if you go through kind of what his growth has been like. So I definitely
Yeah.
enjoy listening to him.
Yeah. So that is what brings me joy.
Yeah.
It's your turn next week, next show.
Yay! I will find joy. Woo!
It's your turn next show to share with us something that brings you joy. And y'all, this segment is really just to keep us centered into the things that can light up our world, and bring some color into our space and maybe look at something a bit different. So, like Londo's like, every time I listen to him, I think about you.
Yep, I do.
So now when y'all listen to PJ Morton, y'all might be thinking about me too. Um, so yes, it's on you next time. Okay,
Yay!
ma'am.
Ma'am.
Cool
Ma'am.
beans. All right. So, having said that, we are going to wrap up today. Anything else that you want to leave with the people, and also tell them where they can find you?
As you all know, you can find me right here at the house. In the house. That's where I usually am. I will say I did go to the pool yesterday. I went to the country club and hung out
Okay,
at the
nice.
pool. So that was nice. So you might randomly run into me there, but probably only for the next 2 weeks. And then other than that, you can find me on Cash App at dollar sign Kalonda, Kalonda. Feel free to bless a sister wherever you feel fit. Every bit truly helps. I'm making a very big changes coming up in life, that we talked about last show. So you should definitely check that out to see kind of what I'm talking about. But other than that, I will see you right here every other Sunday on So You Don't Put Syrup on Your Grilled Cheese.
Cool beans. And y'all can find me at Minding My Black Ass Business on all platforms. And also I didn't show this. I guess I can show really quickly. So my website is kimberlynjackson.com, and I really haven't been using it a lot because it had been really outdated. But I actually made some adjustments the other day.
Hey.
So This is my new landing page here, and I took a lot of the other pages down, but the YouTube, the podcast, and then merch is available. So if you are like really looking to see what I do and where I am right now in life, you can go over to kimberlynjackson.com. And then again, other than that, minding my black ass business. Like we said, please like, subscribe to the page if
Share.
you have not already. Again, we're at just over 600 subscribers. We're on our way to 1,000. So please do, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do that. Share with your people so
Share.
that they can also come and hang out. And we will be back with y'all in 2 weeks. All right. Holla.